Hello, everyone. Welcome to Super Happy Dragon Lucky episode 0x32. It's the 51st episode, and joining us today we have a co-host, Rocco.
How's it going, everybody?
Say hi, Rocco. So this is basically Rocco is a longtime Dragon family, community member. So we saw his video on commercial supply of cereal a week ago, I think, and decided let's ask him if he wants to come on because it could hopefully make the program a little less boring than me, with monotone answers and explanations and everything else. So welcome, Rocco, and let us know. Everybody watching, let us know if it's a good performance on Rocco's part. We can vote him off the island if we need to. We still have.
And no pressure.
We still have.
No pressure.
Right on. As long as you laugh at my jokes, you'll have a veto. Of any.
I can do that.
So okay. So this week, we're going to cover the open source money provably fair contest again. The week 3 winner was selected, and it's using our provably fair contest system. This is the enterprise side. There will be soon rolling out possibly even a free version, but definitely something more usable by podcasters or even neighborhood raffles or whatever the heck makes sense. But the point is that using this tech, every entry before selection is secured on DragonNet, and that's 6 nodes plus Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ethereum Classic right now. And in the future, it's whichever chains we are currently interchained with, but those 3 are pretty solid set at the beginning. And then the selection itself uses block hashes from those public networks to determine the winner from those entries that are on chain. And so it's an interesting system because we couldn't cheat it. Everybody can check for themselves whether they won or not. They can see all the entries. They can verify for themselves that it's fair. And so this week, the entry was selected. The email sent out, so do check email if you entered and see if you won, and there it'll tell you how to come back and claim it and everything else. So this is the third episode, the third week, and so we have 2 more episodes. So week 4, episode 4 is coming out, and that prize amount is 39,100 dragons, the number of dragon wallets as of June 4th, 2020. So one way or another, every entry for every week will also be an entry in the grand prize, which is a 500,000 dragon prize. Okay, and you have to, however, and this is the whole point of it, it's to promote the open source money TV show. So you have to watch the show and you have to answer a question, a clue about the show in the form in order to get an entry. And so, unbelievable, Rocco. sorry. And so, one way or another, this week the clue for the episode 4 is what 2 crypto YouTube influencers joined Joe and the Dragonchain team at Daytona Speedway. Okay, in the show. So watch Open Source Money on Discovery Science for the answer. You might watch on Philo, however you pronounce that as well. That's what I did because I didn't want to turn cable back on. And watch the show. It's been an interesting show, especially if you ignore the parts that I'm in it and droning on. I cringe when I hear my voice. So apologies, but the rest of the show is pretty good. They did a really good job of it, I think. And the intent of it is it's very focused on providing a good, friendly explanation of what crypto is and some of the stories behind crypto to a very normal audience, non-crypto Twitter people. So watch that and give us feedback, whatever else. Next, we have a Factor spinoff that was announced. I think it was announced yesterday. I'm pretty sure. It was a long day yesterday. But one way or another, we have spun off Dragon Factor to a new entity which is the entity is called MiFi. The product itself is called Factor, and it's basically a decentralized identity product that has been operational since 2018 on the server side, and we're just now getting client integrations and libraries set up, and we have 3 integrations that are happening right now, 2 of which are really well underway for using decentralized ID in real products, and it's a pretty amazing thing. I love the system, and I love it's extremely flexible, and we're getting a lot of interest for it. So we spun it off. Dragonchain owns a piece of this new entity. We spun it off in order to give it some focus and primarily independence, because when you have the identity verifications that go through third-party verification providers, that we wanted some independence away from Dragonchain to handle those operations. So that's what it was, and we're really excited about it. On top of that, you can see that there was a new logo, which for probably our highest point of trolling that we've ever gotten was on Dragonchain logo with Jojo the dragon and all that. But one way or another, this is a crypto-friendly, we joked, this is a crypto-friendly logo. Hopefully people will love it. Hopefully people will say, oh my gosh, that's everything. It's going to be Moon, because this logo looks more like other crypto logos.
It's good. I
It's
love
not
JoJo.
fun. Yeah, I don't know. Everybody that we know that's been, it's like, I think it's some way to differentiate people in the world. It's kind of like sweet versus dill pickles, right? You pretty much everyone likes one but not the other, right? And
Got it.
so that was our method of cutting the population, where we say, okay, people who love JoJo will be pro Dragon. People who don't will hate us forever, and that's fine, right? we have to choose a side. So so we're experimenting with this. This is I love this logo, so it's pretty cool. But anyway, there you go. Now, before we bring on our guests, so we have a couple of really amazing guests on this week, particularly tied to Open Source Money show. And before we bring them on, we're going to show you a commercial here that we originally created to play during the series. Along with, we're doing a whole series of these because we knew, I'll explain this, we knew that these weren't crypto people watching. So on a Saturday morning on network TV, they aren't even going to be the enterprise audience, So we were framing something. This is all about brand marketing, brand awareness, and we're all about liberty. And sometimes it's hard for people to understand that. Some people don't like that. They just want speculative investment. They don't care about the real core of what the technology meant to do or where it came from. So this is about that, and it's really funny because this was, at least so far, we aren't going to say it's banned yet, but it's so far been censored. We don't think that they're going to play it on network TV, which is odd. And so we'll play it now, and we'll come back with the guests after. Let us know what you think.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and secret proceedings. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed.
Wow, how about that as a commercial?
Is that crazy?
Sesame Street didn't like that?
Yeah, it's something. It's like a 1961 speech by JFK of all people that they won't let air. Is weird. So
I wonder
anyway,
why.
So there you go. So welcome, Crypto Crow. Thanks for showing up. And Alex Mashinski, CEO of Celsius Network.
Big balls.
Hey guys.
Do you like my green screen hanging? My backdrop
awesome.
there? Yeah.
The best part about that is when people will use that later, right? So what are people going to overlay behind you right now in the edits?
Oh, thanks for giving people ideas. I can't wait to end up in like a XXX video. It's been my lifelong dream. Well, I had to change my entire office. My whole back wall is painted green, but I moved everything around, so now I got to hang this from my daggone door. I've gone rogue. I don't know. Anyway,
we're on lockdown, right? So okay, so all right, so I'll start asking some of the questions, and feel free, as much as you want to get into it. We have time. We're trying to keep stuff on time, but we don't have any actual hard time limits. So okay, so first off, topic. So you've both been featured in Open Source Money, right? The show. It's actually great. I think both of your parts so far have been amazing, right? Because like Alex was on, I think, the first episode, right? It's like there's tons of good stuff in there from him. You were on, I think you're on mostly this weekend.
Yeah,
right?
this coming Saturday. I haven't seen it, so I have no idea. I think I cry a lot. I don't know what's happening.
That might be why it's an hour long. And JD really might have wanted to fill it.
It's just this big giant crying about random stuff. It's known to happen. I don't know.
Yes. So Crow, you mentioned that JD was recording everything. I think I saw this in a video. Maybe it was when I was on with you. I can't remember, but that he was recording everything you said, and you didn't realize that he was recording up front, right?
Well, so I didn't know what he was planning to use it for. I thought he was recording stuff for me. And he was just recording like all kinds of stuff. He's like, "Oh, we're gonna get some B-roll for you and B-roll for you," and I'm like, "Okay, fine." And he got me talking about so much stuff, and I ended up getting emotional. And then I realized what was happening with this show. I'm like, "Oh, great! That son of a bitch is gonna put me crying on national television." And I haven't seen it, so I have no idea.
Let's hope, right? Let's hope. That's awesome. Yeah, cause he I think he tried that with me too. Like everybody else in the office, I think he got them all to cry. But I don't cry, so I don't think that I think they had to film me more to figure out what can they do that would
inflict a lot of pain. It's different for everybody.
Yeah, I didn't crack. So Alex, so if one thing about your segment, if people were to remember one thing about what you had shared, what would you hope that it is? What's the main? And by the way, that's the other question for you. I don't know how he recorded you. Did he just show up and film some stuff when you're talking to an audience, and then did he try to get you separate after the fact?
Well, yeah, we did both. I mean, I was on stage, and then we did some footage afterwards. But it's funny because when you look at the, the video that was out, like previewing the movie itself, and you would think it was recorded after Corona because it's talking about how the banks are printing money. It's talking about how the government is taking the dream away from the people, and no, this all happened before Corona was even on anybody's mind. So,
2 years ago. Well, on some people's minds. So I think some people had it planned. So anyway, sorry.
No, but when was the event, Jason? The event was what?
Oh, you're talking about Chainwise, my convention?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where he got a lot of the footage from you. You were fantastic.
October, what was it, October 19 or November 19?
November 8th and 9th, I think.
Yeah, so that's before the first case in China was even became public. Mm-hmm. So it was definitely not a Corona thing. But my point is that what the four of us live every day is now like a big news for everybody else. Now everybody's watching the movie and they're like, "Oh my God, look at all this bad stuff that's happening," and the government just printed $10 trillion and gave it to the rich, and no one noticed. No one noticed, right?
Yep.
And now they're trying to do it again. Now they're going back to Congress and saying, "Okay, look, it took us 3 months. We ran out of money. Okay, can we do it again? That was good." let's do another 10 trillion. So
Yes.
I think like it's not that the crazy people ran out of the asylum. It's like there's no more walls. I mean, it's just so it's really painful to see the American dream just disintegrate in front of our face, in front of our eyes.
This is true. Wow, this is true. Okay. Yep. Rocco, you're up.
All right.
Rocco's already been fired. I heard the
Apparently, my computer rings my phone. I had no clue about that. Okay. So the topic is we're still very early in the adoption of blockchain technology, right? So, Alex, in your opinion, what is the biggest hurdle to mass adoption of blockchain?
When is the date for mass adoption?
I'm asking, what's the biggest hurdle to mass adoption?
Oh, the biggest hurdle. So look, the biggest, everything is lined up perfectly for Bitcoin, right, and for other crypto, but we're still not seeing that mass adoption. Like, you have a pandemic, you have a massive amount of printing of fiat currencies, right? You have a recession or a depression, right? I mean, what else do you need, right? So I think that the bar is just very, very high for people to believe in a new system. It's just very difficult for people to believe that stuff they lived in their entire life and their parents lived with and their grandparents lived with, which is the US dollar and the pound and and so on, is all like almost like a Ponzi scheme, right? Where again, we work super hard for our money, we pay taxes, and then the other guys just press a button and print all the money they need. So I just think that it's going to be a long slog. It's not going to be like some mega event that gets a billion people to come and join us. So I think we got to come up with more solutions, technical solutions and adoption related solutions, right? Things that people actually need to use every day. Yeah. And then just like the Crusades, we got to go out there and just recruit more and more people to join us. There's no, I don't see any shortcuts here.
Okay. Thank you, sir. All right, Crow. Okay, have you seen an increase or decrease lately in excitement in crypto in general?
There's definitely been an increase, I would say, across the board. I mean, the markets are showing that. So, back in the last bull market, I mean, you could really kind of time the viewership and the number of views you were getting per video based on the price of Bitcoin. Because when Bitcoin went up, you got more articles about it going up. And so more people were getting excited, and then they're looking up everything else to find out, why is it going up? So we've seen that now, though, not so much with Bitcoin because it's been fairly stagnant at around $9,100 for the past 3 months. But the altcoins have been getting a rise. And so that's been driving up a lot of interest and people going into these really, this coin's a tenth of a penny and then it goes up to 20 cents overnight. So we're seeing a lot of that kind of stuff right now. And yeah, I think the interest is definitely climbing.
Thank you.
Excellent. So I have a follow-up for that. So for both of you, that exciting price does drive interest. I mean, and we saw that it's so much easier to cut through noise and to get even traditional press to print stuff during the big bull runs, right? And so my question is, if, and this is maybe a little controversial, right? But with Bitcoin, if it were still trying to be peer-to-peer cash, along with a store value, do you think that price would be better than it is right now?
Sure, it would, but I don't personally think that's really even its mission. I mean, I know that a lot of people say it is, but I don't look at Bitcoin like that personally. I don't know what Alex thinks.
Yeah, I think the two contradict each other because for it to be a form of payment, it needs to be stable and consistent. And for it to be store of value, it needs to go up over time, right? So anything that's so volatile like Bitcoin has a very hard time being a form of payment. I mean, at Celsius, a company where we're doing everything we can to prevent our customers from selling their coins, right? We're making it hard for them to withdraw. We're giving them loans so they don't have to sell coins. We talk them through hodling. We're a hodler community, right? And the reason for that is that I've been at this for a decade now, and I'm yet to meet someone who ever mentioned the word Bitcoin, who's happy about ever using Bitcoin to buy anything, right? Anyone who's done any transaction is thinking back and saying, "Oh my God, that SoFi I bought cost me $1 million."
Oh, what about in like 2010, 2011 though, right? Because back then, I've sent multiple transactions in Bitcoin with no fees. Right back then, you would still get them in the block. It's still Bitcoin. It's not as fast as Visa, but it was still usable, right?
Look, it needs to, after it reaches a plateau of being a store of value, it can become a form of payment. I'm not saying it will never become a form of payment. I'm just saying that it needs to reach, I don't know, $100,000, $120,000 before people kind of say, okay, now I can use it as a currency as well, not just as a store of value. So the question is just, where is it? For some people it's $1 million, for some people it's 100,000, for some people it's 10,000. But the point is that right now, considering what's happening with the politics, what's happening with the monetary system, what's happening with the economic cycle that we're in, right? Where basically Ray Dalio, some of the smartest people in the world, are telling you, you should not be investing in the stock market. You should not be holding any bonds. Like bonds are like nuclear weapons. They're just going to blow up in your face, right? So what are you going to hold? Well, you hold gold and you hold Bitcoin. Those are the only two safe assets, non-correlated safe assets. So, but at the same time, we still have a lot of speculators in the community, too many speculators. So it goes up even $1,000, and they all jump in and start dumping their coins because they're not in it for the long run.
Yeah, that's
I don't know if that's necessarily true, because I do that, but it's not because I'm not in it for the long run. It's because I expect to buy it cheaper.
The crow is not in it for the long haul.
No. That's not what I mean. What I mean is, if I have 5 Bitcoin and I'm looking at the charts and I'm looking at the sentiment and I'm seeing everything going on, and I think, okay, Bitcoin's going to go lower, there's a chance I might sell it and then buy it at $500 cheaper and just accumulate more. That's part of what I do with my automated bot trading, with a lot of the stuff I do. Now, granted, I don't make significantly huge deals when I'm doing that, because I know when I touch my Bitcoin, I feel like I'm trading with my life's blood. So I have to be really confident that what I'm doing is going to help me accumulate more. But ultimately, I look at it a little bit differently. I'm always trying to accumulate, not I'm not going to use it to go buy anything right now.
Well, I tried the same thing, and I'm embarrassed to say I have less coins today than I had in 2013. So, because the mind is just a very difficult thing to keep straight. It's when you're all euphoric at 20,000 and you're afraid to buy it at 4,000. I mean, it's just
it's crazy. It's all psych stuff. So
exactly. Yep. So I for most people, you might be a pro at it, but for most people, that is a very difficult.
You just got to take the emotions out and fire up that automated trading bot, brother.
I agree with you. So you're good at it.
I did really well with the trading bots, and I'm just starting to really dive back in now that my bot's getting closer.
So we just tell people, look, we tell people, buy a little bit every month. It doesn't matter what the price is. Don't just spread your buys
over time. Yeah.
By the way, I've had discussions in the past with some, even at Disney. I had discussions with one of the guys that he was didn't want to spend Bitcoin for something, and I'm like, one Bitcoin today is still one Bitcoin, right? It doesn't matter. It's a Bitcoin, right? And yeah, you can buy it. You buy whatever you want in dollars, so you can say, okay, it's this much money. You pay for it, then. One Bitcoin is one Bitcoin. It doesn't matter when. So, and it depends too. That's the other thing, is when you talk about store of value, you're talking about its price per U.S. dollar. Which, if the U.S. dollar goes away, who knows?
Well, that won't matter anymore, right?
It won't matter, right? It's still going to be one Bitcoin. So, And that's why I have a problem with high fees and stuff like that. It's like, man, there's so many things that could be done. But anyway, whatever. Next question. Great Twitter hack. So this could have been much worse than it was. It was kind of hilarious how they used what they did. What attack they chose. Pretty funny. So Alex, do you think that current social platforms will move towards decentralization? And that's when I say current ones, will they move towards decentralization?
Yeah, look, I mean, Facebook, Twitter, even Google, they are like the epitome of centralization. I mean, Facebook by itself is something like 60% of all the web traffic every day. So it's like a black hole, right? It's very, very difficult to seize back the power from a black hole. So. So I don't believe that the crypto community wins by copying what Wall Street does or copying what social media does. I mean, you have to come up with a new, better solution, and you have to convince users that you're acting in their best interest, and then they will switch over. Because all the power that Facebook has is just because they own all of our photos and all of our videos and all of our friends, right? We gave it to them. They didn't take them from us. We gave it to them. So come up with a better platform, which is what we did with Celsius, right? We focused on just interest income. We said we're going to come up with a platform that's going to pay 100 times more than the bank, right? And we did that. And now all the DeFi, everybody's copying us, trying to create a better version. And that's great because, like it's all doing good for the crypto community. There's no bank on Wall Street that can compete with any of these platforms. They can compete with DeFi or CeFi or ShMeFi, So we got to do the same thing with social. If you want to win that war, and there are a few projects that are trying to do that, right? You have to create something that is much, much better than any of these platforms and that acts in their best, the user's best interest. Right.
Very good. Okay. And then Crow, YouTube, so you have a good YouTube channel, lots of followers. They're known for censorship, in particular censorship of crypto. What will it take for content creators to move to, like, say, library or something else where it's protected, or at least that angle on things is
Joe
protected?
Rogan just spelled that out for the whole world, didn't he? I mean, he just, $100 million contract to go to Spotify. I mean, here's the thing, you see a lot of people, I've had my channel shut down and then it was brought back within like 24 hours, which I was extremely lucky that was the case. I've seen, I have a group it's an invite only Telegram group of like 160 YouTubers and Twitter guys. And, anytime one of them gets shut down for any reason, they come on and everybody supports them. And, I don't know really what's happening with cryptocurrency on YouTube, to be frank. I don't know if it's an algorithmic issue or if it's an intentional kind of like, hey, we're keeping tabs and, but like the videos that I've had banned during that period were nothing. Like there wasn't anything in any of those videos, and many other YouTubers as well. But, what's it going to take? I mean, a lot of people will say, oh, Crow, you should go to this platform or that platform instead. Well, you can't do that because the eyeballs and the people aren't on this platform and that platform yet. And, a lot of the UIs are kind of clunky. They're kind of slow. They're not very intuitive yet. And just like Alex said, we have to create better platforms that the public want to use and that the, content creators want to take advantage of. And you have to, it's almost like what happens first, the egg or the chicken? Do you build something that the public wants? Some of these platforms you're able to put all this conspiracy theory stuff and all of this crazy stuff that's getting kicked off of, platforms like YouTube. So that is to some extent drawing the eyeballs of people. But we're nowhere close to being able to compete with YouTube on any real level. And so it's kind of like, well, you're married to I don't want to say married to the devil, but I mean, it's just like with the way things are, they call the shots, and we're going into their home and inviting our friends. If they don't want us drinking or pissing on the carpet, they can kick us out. I mean, it's just kind of the way I see it. So,
and they keep 80% of the value that you create with your viewers.
Well,
Don't forget that part.
True. But at the same time, I've changed my life from what I've accomplished on YouTube. So, and I don't even care about YouTube monetization. I don't care about that at all. I only turn it on so that they recommend my videos. I care about the views that I get, the subscribers that I get, the brand name that I'm building, and the way I utilize that to further my own career outside of just YouTube. So for me, it's a fine trade-off. Even if they didn't monetize my videos and they said, we're going to keep it all, but we're going to recommend your videos more often, and we're going to do this, that, and another thing to help you grow, take it. I don't care. That's not where I make my money as my living anyway. But I understand what you're saying. I don't own my channel. So if they decide to shut me off, I've got nothing. I have to start over somewhere else with nobody to watch it. So it sucks, but it's the gamble you have to take, I guess, right now. But at the same time, Joe Rogan is painting that picture, and he's saying, look, I'm not having it anymore. And I've built my following. I've built my public large enough that they'll go with me. And I don't know how many of us on YouTube are currently big enough for that. Even the biggest YouTubers with 10 million subscribers doing these silly videos where they're playing with toys and doing all that, if they don't go in, if they were to up and we're going to go to Spotify, nobody would care because there's 50,000 other people just like that. My daughter can turn on one of these videos and just watch 100 of these videos of unboxing little kids' toys. And it doesn't matter if one of those YouTubers goes away. So it's just the way things are.
So look, the monetization, which is the business model for YouTube right now, making money on advertising, is the crux of the matter. If you can invent a different business model that relies on something else, because you're decentralized, because the viewers are not there to watch commercials, who in the world wants to watch commercials? So we're all forced to do it. Because we were forced into this platform, which forces us to watch something we don't want to watch. So in theory,
is kind of doing that to an extent. I mean, they're incentivizing the viewers to go and like videos, and they're basically giving you tokens that have some value, and they're giving the content. I really like Library personally. I think it's one of the best answers, and they back up my whole channel automatically.
Yep.
Yes, I think
we're doing that now.
Other platforms that come up with a killer solution, and we all have to support them. I mean, part of this, and we, with Jason and I always talk about it, is that every time you use your credit card, every time you use a bank, every time you use YouTube, you are not supporting these projects. So you want decentralization, you want open money. Well, why are you using a credit card? Why are you giving money to a bank?
Right. And it's like, and I get it because the viewers are there, and you have to build, we have a small channel, so trying to build it as much as we can so that we have a channel to funnel all the info out. But at the same time, we are like, say right now we're broadcasting to Periscope and to Facebook and to LinkedIn and to YouTube on purpose. Right, so that if YouTube said, decided that, you're not an enterprise blockchain, you're a cryptocurrency project, and this Wednesday for some reason we're going to ban them all, because somebody got a wild hair up their butt inside behind their walls, that all of a sudden we're gone. Well, at least we still have these other channels that we can push people to, just to at least get our info out. Yes, we want more choice, but. And we're trying to figure out how to include some of that into Den as well with, how do we make it so that it's a smoother transition, so that's maybe the ability to upload a video that uploads to multi-platforms. So now you're protected. If one of them decides, your video is not politically correct enough for us, we're going to kill it. You still have the other ones, right? And people then can have a choice. It's like, I'm not going to watch anything on YouTube because I'm totally against whatever, or if you care, it's like, I'm just going to watch YouTube because it's the best streaming wherever the heck I'm at, right? Doesn't matter. So, okay, excellent.
Well, I'll give you the secret. The secret is that if you were one of the first 1,000 people on TikTok, you would have 100 million viewers, right? It's if you pick the right platform and you're there early, you're guaranteed to be a success story. It doesn't matter what stupid video you post, right? It's very hard to do that after a platform already has 100 million viewers. So a lot of these overnight success stories are just because somebody was there early enough,
Yep. Just accidentally chose the right platform. It's totally the truth, right? That's any social, also, by the way, right? Anybody who's active on any social early is going to have the following, and therefore, whatever comes with that following. It depends on how they monetize it too. So, okay, Rocco, you have a question?
All right, Bitcoin. So we're Crow this time. Do you think Bitcoin will be the #1 cryptocurrency forever?
No, I don't.
Right.
No.
All right.
I think it'll ultimately become the primary store of value, but I don't think it'll be. Well, when you say so we might be asking. I might be answering a different question in terms of market cap. Maybe, sure. If it becomes the official, like the real store of value that we're all trading in and out of, and all the various positions for the thousands of altcoins that are out there, sure. But as far as like the #1 crypto, no, I don't think that's going to be. Because there's already so much more technology that's better than Bitcoin is. I mean, let's face facts. And as far as usability and all of the different variables associated with blockchain technology, and Bitcoin doesn't have it all, in my opinion. And so, I might store my value there, but when I want to put that value to work, it may not be as Bitcoin.
Alex, same question. Do you think Bitcoin will be the #1 cryptocurrency forever?
So I agree with Jason. I think if you count it for store value, maybe the answer is yes. But if you count it from a user, how many users? There's definitely going to be a much bigger platform that has many more users, and I don't think it has been invented yet. I think we are at crypto 2.0 right now, and I think maybe we need to get to crypto 3.0 to see like the blockchain that got social on it and got 7 billion people on it, and everybody jumped on the bandwagon, right? So, but Bitcoin is the pure version, like the kind of like the mainstream is definitely not to be touched with, and it's just so much safer than anything else out there, right? It has that 12 years worth of blocks that is just impossible to break. So, and people underestimate how much value is stored in that many blocks. So I think anytime there's going to be a hack or a scare or anything like that, you're going to see people running back to Bitcoin.
You're both right. This is good. All right. Okay. So next I have. Yes.
You're both right. Well, shit. What's my score at the end of this?
Yes, I'm hoping I can.
We got a green screen on Jason. We can change it to anything we want. We can make it anything we want.
It changes the context of any answer that he gives, depending upon what we put behind him. It's beautiful.
Exactly.
Excellent. All right. Okay. So next up, fintech and DeFi. So Alex, I mean, and the great thing is, both of you, these are fitting in that area. So Celsius, focuses on lending. Other use cases, and I think you've already answered this, but what do you see potential in other use cases beyond fintech, beyond value?
Yeah. So we didn't invent lending. We invented interest income, right? So before Celsius, you had other companies that offered you to take loans against your crypto that charged you 20%. And Celsius came and said, how about 1% for your loan, but we'll pay you 8% if you deposited Bitcoin with us, right? So the interest income, so 90%, like we have 145,000 users. 90% of them come to us because they want to earn yield, not because they need a loan. So, and I think the next, going back to your question about adoption, the next 100 million people, the next billion people are going to come because they want to earn yield because they cannot earn it from their bank or from the central bank, or because their government is blowing up like Turkey or Argentina or Lebanon or 10 other countries where there's 50 or 100% inflation a year. So I don't think we need 5 more killer apps. I mean, the main killer app the number one killer app is store of value with Bitcoin. The number two killer app is a form of payment with Tether. That's $10 billion right there. Tether has 10 times more velocity than the US dollar, right? So it's just going to kill the US dollar. That's what the US government is so afraid of, right? Because it's like, even though it's denominated in dollars, its velocity is so much higher than it's worth much more, right? But just people don't understand that. And when you see Tether go from like 1 billion to 3 billion to 10 billion, that is huge. That is not like a little thing. So that's the second killer app. And the third killer app is interest income. You got those three. Just with those three, you can get to easily to 100 or 200 million users. You don't need anything else.
Okay, that's interesting. All right. Crow, is your audience exposed to other use cases? Do they care about use cases other than speculation, investing, fintech related?
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, I feel like a lot of my followers watch my channel because I cry a lot. No, I'm kidding. No, I truly think that, since I started my channel has been all about my personal growth and learning of blockchain technology and me sharing everything I learned in a very upfront, just blunt kind of way. I don't sugarcoat anything. I call it how I see it. It is what it is. I'm not always 100% right. It's like my people, they just, I don't know. I expose everybody to everything. If I have an interest in it and I'm learning about it, I'm sharing what I'm learning. And it doesn't really matter what that is, whether it's mining or business development, sales, DeFi, even though I don't really cover DeFi that much because I'm personally still a little afraid of it. I feel like there's a new one popping up every week, and it could have been some 12-year-old that wrote some naughty smart contract, put a logo on it, threw it on the internet, and goes up 5,000% until it gets hacked tomorrow. Like I just don't trust many of these things right now. So I don't cover a lot of that. But yeah, I try to cover everything I can. I mean, if I find it interesting, I share it, and people tune in and watch.
Very good, very good. Okay, excellent. All right.
I decentralized my content, sir.
Oh, yes. Oh, okay. So now we have rapid fire questions. All right. So I'm going to ask, and this is the first time I've done this with two people at the same time here, right? So I'm going to ask, they basically say a word or whatever, and you guys are going to, in turn, I'll call to each of you. First thing that comes to mind, first thing you would say about that word or person or thing. All right.
Well, who goes first?
This is where we get into trouble.
Oh, I'll tell you. Yeah, I'll tell you. That's why. That's the point, right? No.
I'll say something stupid, and then somebody uses the green screen. Yeah, I can't wait.
Right on. Okay. And I'll call to you each. Right. So, maximalists. Crow.
Ignorant.
Okay. Alex.
Maximalist.
Yeah.
And everything.
Okay. All right. Altcoins. Alex.
One a dozen.
Crow.
Profitable.
Okay. All right. DeFi. Alex.
CeFi.
Crow.
Scary.
Okay. All right. China digital currency. Crow.
Faster than us.
Okay. Alex.
Stick to the dollar.
Okay. All right. Justin Sun. Alex.
Who is that?
All right. Crow.
Marketing genius.
Okay. Bully, aka Crypto Bully.
Crypto Bully. I don't even know who Crypto Bully is.
Okay. All right. Alex.
I don't know who that is.
Okay. All right. Biden. Crow.
Smells a lot of hair.
Okay. Alex.
Amnesia.
Okay. All right. Trump. Alex.
Who?
Trump.
His time is over.
All right. Crow.
Oranges.
All right. China, Alex.
Armageddon.
All right. Crow.
Hackers.
Okay. Ross Ulbricht, Crow.
Criminal.
All right. Alex.
That's a tough one. And I don't have a word for it.
Okay. All right. Assange, Alex.
Yeah. Give me a second on that. Fake news. How about that? Fake news.
Okay. Okay. All right. Crow.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seth Rich, Crow.
Seth Rich. I'm not even sure who that is.
You got to
Okay,
give us
all right.
context. We're not that.
Alex. No. Okay. If you don't know, if you don't know, it's fine. Just say
I don't
this
know.
is over time. I'll explain a little bit. Over time, we'll see if people, some of these things people are more aware of next year versus this year, right? So okay.
Okay.
And then Alex, QAnon.
Who?
Okay. Then Crow.
Oh man, rabbit hole.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. So that was it. All right. So that was all of them. Sorry, those were okay, right? I will say
Yeah.
next time.
I will say I had Ross Ulbricht's mom on my channel. We did a whole thing together, and I feel bad for the guy. I do, but he's still a criminal in my mind. I mean, you create a marketplace for drug dealers, drug addicts, and hitmen, and call it freedom. I mean, or whatever. It's like it just doesn't really work that way to me. So I sympathize, but. I mean, he needs to be out. I'm sure he's learned his lesson. I don't think what he did necessarily. I mean, that's such a tricky thing. But ultimately, in one word, that's like I feel bad. Like I'm sure he's a hell of a nice guy, but I just
Wrong. But anyway.
I don't know.
No, I don't know. I would tend to say it's like, and I followed it for quite a while, mostly because, like, say, when he would put out some of his, they interviewed him a couple of times. Like I don't know if it was either Wired or some org that they printed an interview. I'm like, holy crap! This guy was like the ultimate libertarian, and primarily, he cited facts on people who were buying illegal. Illicit substances anyway, but instead of driving downtown and getting shot, they're buying it over and the post office is delivering it. It's like that's probably a positive thing. On top of the fact, it depends on what you think about the war on drugs and all that crap, right?
Yeah, but if I created murder bags to put on someone's head before I shot them, because people.
Well, Amazon sells murder
anyway,
bags,
and they're getting blood on the carpet.
You can buy murder bags on Amazon, Crow. So it's like they're already there. It's just a matter of.
Yeah, he was Amazon for anarchist, not for libertarian.
And look, I appreciate and I respect that mentality to some degree, but I don't think that was the greatest way of expressing that.
You want to build a new society, you can't do it with that kind of platform. So. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's interesting. I was like, I'm against most of the regulation because I know most of the time, it's centered on lobbyists. It's centered, and I've been behind the wall there. I know what happens inside the government.
That's a whole other issue, though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. All of that
come about for sure. I believe there's a much more fair way. Like creating the tax code. I mean, that to me, it was just like somebody just said, let's just tax the hell out of this stuff we don't know anything about and make it really difficult for people and, let them just suck it up and deal with it. I don't agree with a lot of the way a lot of this stuff has been handled, but that's a totally different issue than Ross Ulbricht.
Right. Yeah. Well, that was the thing, though. It was basically people are doing this anyway, and people are doing it with cash right now anyway. So. Right. This was just it's a whatever we can agree on that. So okay, so tell us, so Alex, tell us what you're up to lately, and anything you'd want to pitch or talk about what's going on with Celsius, network we should know
Sure.
about?
So we added gold. We added 10 different staking coins. So now, like the same wallet that just paid you interest on, like your favorite crypto, can now also earn you yield on. We pay 3% on gold in gold, with Tether Gold, and we have 10 different staking coins. All your favorites, EOS, Tezos, Cardano, all this other stuff.
You've
And
added Cardano?
it's coming. Yeah,
I
Cardano
was
isn't
going
live
to say,
yet.
well, we just talked about this. I'm like, wait, you didn't tell me
Hey, I
this.
spilled the beans. I just spilled the beans. You see.
That's
Okay.
nice. That's good info. That's good
But
info.
and we just added ACH and SEPA, which is basically you can connect your bank account to Celsius directly. You can buy the coins on the platform. You don't have to buy them on Coinbase, move them over.
Really?
So
What?
yes,
That's nice. That's brilliant.
live. That's
So-
live
so-
last week.
Let me ask you: is it safe? Is it safe? Like if I'm holding Bitcoin in a cold wallet, should I be putting it in your network and earning some interest on it?
I
or
just
should
went
be
through
holding it?
all of this with his CTO last week because I had a million questions. I broke them all down, and I'm going to be doing a video on it myself soon because that has been my big concern.
Okay.
And Jason's going to have the exclusive new view. We have all new view of everything, and only the crypto core gets to show it to the world. So you better tune closely because he's not going to tell you which episode it comes on, but you'll be able to see the future
It's
of,
pretty.
of,
It's
of
pretty.
Celsius and how how we're going to bring 100 million people into this platform. But look, it's
Nice.
you got to fix the user interface. You got to create stuff that people are really excited about, and we the community, the crypto community. If you look at all the apps, all the stuff that's out there, you yawn. You're like, oh my god, like. So
will it bring in normal people? Will it bring in normal people? That's what we really need, right? We don't need the crypto Twitter people.
Right. So we have 12 different stable coins, for example, right? So you don't need to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum or anything like that. You can just take your bank account, tie it into Celsius, move your dollars from the bank to Celsius. It automatically converts into a stable coin. It earns interest, and when you do the reverse, you just get the interest in your bank. So
Right, but will normal people? Because you have to
Yeah,
consider
that's
the
the whole
normal.
point.
Sorry, I'm going.
the point
Okay,
is that it's a savings account, right? So that's the main issue, and the hard part is making it really easy and seamless because you still have to do KYC, you still have to do all kind of other stuff. And if you can make it really, really simple, simpler than opening a savings account in a bank, and then people will really come and use it, right? So we're trying to solve that user adoption issue, solve the user interface issue.
And that's why I talk about regulation, because then you're going to have to match what exists with traditional banking regulations. So you have to do KYC, you're going to have to do all that, and that's pretty much a given. There's no way around that. But you also now have to figure out the crypto side too, right? Because it's going to be hard to make it simpler when you have that and okay.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying that look, we're using voice over IP right now. Can you explain to me how it works? Do you know how complicated voice over IP is? But all you have to do
That's easy stuff, Alex. Stop bragging.
So all you did is you clicked on the button and everything happened, right? I mean, you don't have to know how TCP/IP works and how routers.
I have a question for you, Alex. This just came to mind. Why are phones now so much? The audio is so much worse than it was, and I hope it's not voice over IP. Sorry, I'm just giving you crap because they now have the ability to compress and do stuff. So now it's like I'm listening to someone, and if you have any accent at all, it's really hard to freaking understand anybody on a freaking modern phone because it's being digital. It's not analog anymore, right?
No. So
give you crap.
Back in the day, like in the 90s, bandwidth was just very, very expensive. So they had to compress it. And like what we're using right now is full bandwidth. I mean, there's no compression on these channels, right? So the four of us are talking at the same time. You have full HD video, you have full HD audio, and there's no compression. But the phone companies, to save on bandwidth, even though they don't need to, they still compress some of these calls. So
Yeah.
so the issue is just that some of these companies, when you hear a really bad quality call, that's because your phone company is lazy and doesn't
Right.
want to update their equipment.
Right.
You know?
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's funny. So
Yeah.
I have a quick question,
Use
actually.
WhatsApp. WhatsApp works perfectly well.
What do you think,
It's
Alex, of the whole everything going on with the banks now being able to custody crypto? Because I was just talking about this morning, and I'm curious what everybody's thoughts are.
Look, first, it's a great first step forward. It's a good thing that they're allowing banks to do that. But the major banks, the top 4 or 5 banks in the United States, are not going to want to do this. I mean, they don't want to enable their demise. They have a license to print money, literally. And why mess with this Bitcoin thing if you can actually, like, they just, look, all they do is they take your deposit, they sit on them, and they make 30, 40 billion dollars in profit every year.
yeah, I think the only use case for them doing this is if there's a tax break for it. I mean, it's like, why would I care to have my bank hold my Bitcoin for me? Even
Because
if I'm a
nobody's
normal
going to
person.
want to use money here soon. So if they're not in the crypto game, especially think about it. Why?
I know why they would do
They're
it.
doing this because when the U.S. comes out with their own stable coin, the banks are going to need to have the ability to custody cryptocurrency so they can custody these stable coins for the general public as the dollar goes away and we further enter into a cashless society.
I understand why they would want it, but why would anybody do it? Why would I care to?
Because the government
if I know about Bitcoin.
printing so much money right now.
No, but you know,
start adopting a new system.
But if I understand that, I'm also going to understand that I need to either buy gold or buy Bitcoin. I'm not going to go to my bank and say, "Hey, can you hold some Bitcoin for me because I trust you." I mean, we've had lawyers try to do that.
Let me put it in context. So, have you ever gone to your bank and bought gold from your bank?
No.
Okay. Now they're all licensed to do that, and gold is a $10 trillion asset, and no bank sells you gold. So tell me how much Bitcoin has to be worth before any bank is going to start selling you or dealing with Bitcoin. So my point is that today, yes, they might be offering you licenses and banks may be legally allowed to do stuff. It doesn't mean they will be doing it, right? So Fidelity is going to do it because they're really into it, but your average bank and definitely not the big banks are going to do anything about that.
I mean, one point about putting the Bitcoin in your bank is if it's insured, say up to $250,000, hey, maybe I'll store my Bitcoin in the bank because I know it's safe, and if it goes someplace, get hacked or whatever, I'll still have it.
Yeah, right now you're not really getting FDIC insurance on anything but fiat. So if that starts becoming something that you're able to get with crypto, that could change some things for people, especially people that. But the thing of it is that with what Alex just said that I didn't even know was a thing yet, is being able to basically taking away that barrier of entry into crypto for the general public, being that fiat gateway into various different altcoins, not having to buy, Bitcoin or Ethereum first and just going directly into the altcoins you want. I just had to write a big guide to 2 of my neighbors who wanted to know how to buy some crypto. And I'm like, oh, geez, they're both asking me. I'm writing this big step by step. You got to go here and buy this. Then you got to take that after a week. And then you can send it over to this other exchange. It's got the altcoin that you want. And then buy that. Then you got to download that wallet and send it from that exchange to this wallet. And then you got to count the hairs on your head, do a little circle. And it's like, that's the barrier of entry for the general public. And if people don't know, they don't have somebody truly guiding them into the adoption of cryptocurrency, there's the mass adoption is going to continue taking a long, long time. So
Very true.
apps like Celsius are going to continue making things easier and easier for people to get what they want and then store them. And I think that this whole unbank yourself kind of thing that Alex has going on. I mean, I've loved Celsius since the beginning, just like I've loved Dragonchain since the beginning. I mean, projects that actually stand for something outside of just profitability. And so that's why I've always been very much bullish on both of you, just because it goes far outside just the general, well, we've got a really good idea that we think is going to make us a bunch of money and maybe change something. It's spearheaded by a much more powerful place. and so that's why I've always had nothing but respect for both.
So I didn't get to ask Crow. Okay.
People want to stand for something, and that's why if your project represents, like Jason said, if your project represents more than just, oh, I'm going to make you rich, or oh, I'm going to make you famous, and then people gravitate to it. And like we have over 600 ambassadors. Why so many people jump and say, oh, I want to be a Celsian, I want to spread the word, because this promise that that you can really bring economic freedom and financial freedom to everybody on the planet. When you experience that interest every Monday and you start doing the math and you're like, wow, in a few years, I can live off my interest. I don't have to work anymore.
Yeah.
Right? And when you understand that, then you realize that you have a future, because today most Americans are there's no retirement. How are you going to retire? Explain it to me.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Crow, anything coming up?
My weight. No. I've got all kinds of stuff all the time, really. I mean, I don't know what to say. I'm literally in the process of trying to build a new community for people. I'm going to be hosting all my own courses. It's going to be very newbie friendly. And I'm working things out with other third-party people, so that people that are members of this platform will get access to discounts on all kinds of crazy stuff, and they're going to have, it's just a whole idea that I had, and it's one of the ideas that I talked to my wife about before I started doing anything, and she's like, "Now that one is a good one," and I'm like, "Okay, I guess I'll move forward with it then." So
that's good. Okay, that's good.
It's funny how they remind you of all your bad ideas and say, I told you that was a really bad idea.
My wife does not do that to me, surprisingly, because, since I got into crypto, I mean, that first night when I woke her up in a crying fit about how it all clicked with me, and I'm doing this from now on, and then everything that's happened since, she doesn't question me anything. I'd be like, I figured out how to create free energy from a rat turd, and she'd say, yes, go for it. See what happens.
Right on. That's good. That's a good place to be.
Right.
Okay. All right. So we hit an hour. Sorry, we went a little bit over. So this week we have a merch giveaway. So there's a single shirt to give away, and we actually have 2 different JFK shirts. You can pick which one you like. And I think it's free minus shipping. We actually haven't been able to figure out how to. It does not work. We've tried to give free shipping, but it doesn't work yet, right? But these are basically for the band commercial that you saw earlier, and the code is SHDL-JFK. All right, so it's Super Happy Dragon Lucky -JFK. So like and subscribe to the channel. Watch Open Source Money this Saturday on Discovery Science again. Crow is featured. I think he has tons of airtime. It should be good.
I can't wait to discover this.
It's 10 a.m. Eastern on Saturday, so in 2 days. And tune in to Super Happy next week for the final clue. And again, there's 500,000 dragons up for that contest, so you have to watch the show. And the better ratings we get, the more likely we can get it onto other platforms and better framing and everything else. Get better time slots and whatever makes sense there. I'm not in that industry, but so please watch it if you can. Give us feedback. Let us know. They're already filming some stuff for another season, so
wow, should
be good stuff. All right.
Good deal.
Yeah. All right. So thanks everybody for joining.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. Nice to see all of you.
Yeah, see you guys. Thanks a bunch.